Imagine you just announced a budget. You are the Prime Minister. You are feeling pretty good about it. And then you open LinkedIn on a Monday morning and find hundreds of Australian small business owners introducing their brand new silent partner, complete with an AI-generated photo of your face, claiming that partner now owns 47% of their company. That is not a nightmare. That is literally what happened to Anthony Albanese this week, and it is one of the more creative pieces of political pushback this country has ever produced. Welcome to Federal Analysis. Let's get into it. So here is the story. The federal budget included changes to capital gains tax, raising CGT on business sales to 47%, alongside adjustments affecting negative gearing, share investments, and other wealth creation pathways. This came despite earlier signals from the government that no such reforms were on the table, which is a significant part of why the reaction was as sharp as it was. Small business owners across Australia responded the way any resourceful, time-poor, creative community would respond in 2026. They opened an AI image generator, dropped the Prime Minister's face into a professional-looking photo, and started introducing Anthony Albanese as their newest business partner. Businesses across the country began posting on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, introducing their silent partner, the Prime Minister, in posts accompanied by captions claiming the nation's leader now holds a 47% stake in their business, in direct reference to the proposed capital gains tax changes. The photos were almost all AI-generated and usually labeled as such. The creativity here is genuinely worth appreciating. This is not just venting. It is a piece of political communication that explains a complex tax policy change in a single image and caption. You do not need to understand the mechanics of capital gains tax to understand what it means when someone tells you the Prime Minister now owns nearly half of everything you built. The message lands instantly, which is exactly why it spread so fast. Now, the government's position on the CGT changes is that they are a necessary part of a broader fiscal strategy. Small business owners and young Australians have been expressing concern over budget changes that increase capital gains tax and affect multiple wealth creation pathways including negative gearing and share investments. The government would argue these changes are about ensuring the tax system is fair and sustainable. That is a legitimate policy position worth engaging with seriously. But here is the political reality the memes are capturing. The changes came despite earlier assurances from the government that no such reforms were planned. And when voters feel a gap between what they were told and what actually ended up in a budget, the trust deficit that creates is hard to close with a press release. Memes, it turns out, are considerably more effective at expressing that frustration than any formal submission to a parliamentary committee. The trend was not limited to LinkedIn, where many founders and entrepreneurs had already been vocal about the government's CGT policy. It spread across platforms, picked up momentum, and became the kind of organic, citizen-driven political commentary that no media strategy team can plan for or easily counter. For small business owners, this is about more than a single tax rate. It is about the cumulative weight of economic pressure, rising costs, tighter margins, and now a budget that, in their view, hits exactly the moment when they expected to benefit from years of hard work building something. The decision to sell a business is often a retirement plan. A capital gains rate of 47% changes that calculation significantly for a lot of people. What this moment also illustrates is how political communication has shifted. The era of waiting for the evening news to shape public opinion on a budget measure is over. A small business owner with a smartphone and access to an AI image tool can generate a piece of political content that reaches more people than a standard opposition press conference, and they can do it in about 4 minutes. Whether the government adjusts course on the CGT changes, or holds firm and argues the merits, the public conversation has already been shaped by the people most directly affected, and they made their point with considerable wit. That is your federal analysis for today. If you want sharp, no-nonsense breakdowns of what is actually happening in Australian politics, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below telling us what you think, fair reform or overreach. We will see you in the next one.